Now that basketball season is over, the college basketball season is over, we can kind of focus now squarely on football. We can bring the spotlight on football. A-Day is Saturday. How excited are you for A-Day? This is Village Vice.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. It doesn't feel like, I mean, we talked about this last week. There's just been so little chatter and conversation and excitement and interest, dialogue, so little of all these things about Auburn football and the spring practices and all that, where it's like we finally get done with basketball, sadly, 2 days earlier than we wanted it to be. And then it's like, okay, like, I guess we're back to football. And then like spring's almost done. It's just such a different dynamic. I mean, Hugh Freeze talked about it to media when he was in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, how he wanted spring to be as short as possible, as quick as possible. And it's like, man, we're feeling it. I mean, it's already over. Just
it is. Yeah, you're right. Today's show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000 when you use promo code BARN. They'll also give you a $10 casino chip as well. MyBookie.ag. There it is, bottom of your screen. Use that coupon code, promo code BARN for the 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Yeah, when your basketball team takes you all the way into April, and we're 20 weeks away from the regular season opener. 20 weeks. That's it.
Yeah.
20 Fridays to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad. I mean, normally, like, I just feel like there is interest and excitement with spring. And I do think there are some names that have really performed that I think the Auburn fan base in a normal year, in a normal situation, would have been excited about.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's all basketball. I think we talked about this last week, but I think some of it is just the shortcomings on the field and finding different ways to lose every week and all of that. But in a normal situation, in a normal year, the Auburn fan base would be so all in on Sam Turner. And to me, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening. But Sam Turner, the true freshman wide receiver from Atlanta, has just been eating.
Yeah.
Eating over and over and over again. And like, he's just not getting full, Brad. But it's just, there's no interest in it right now. It's just kind of fascinating.
Well, that's kind of a separate thing. We can go down that road. We can walk down that path if we want to. I think as good as Sam is in the
I'll follow you anywhere. Any topic you want, I'll follow you.
How much is he going to play? How much do you think this translates?
I think he's going to play
into the fall. All right. So who's not playing if he is playing? Because we've had this conversation a lot. One of the staple conversations when you talk about an offense is you got like 3 receivers, maybe 4, who are significant parts of your offense.
Right now, I think Auburn, and I just posted this in the barn. Go subscribe to thebarnauburn.com. I posted a lot of scoops yesterday. Also an apology because the last month of my life has been brutal, but I will start dropping more scoops at thebarnauburn.com. But one of the things that I said, I answered, a subscriber in there who asked a similar question. Like right now, I think there's going to be 5 relevant receivers in Auburn's offense. Now, what does relevant mean? I'm not quite ready to define that. Like, I don't want to put a certain yardage or anything, but like maybe snap counts. If I had to guess, like the 5 leading receivers when it comes to snap counts right now, in no particular order: Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons, Eric Singleton. Those are easy.
Yeah.
I think Horatio Fields is 4th. I think Sam Turner will be 5th.
Okay. That's I think that's interesting. I think that is, so no Perry on that list, no Bryce on that list.
Bryce is tough because he's on the same roster as Eric.
Yeah.
And Malcolm.
Yeah. All right. I think 5 is a lot. I think if you look back at the last couple of years, and those are very different receiver rooms. There's no comparing the 24 receiver room and the 23 receiver room. It's apples and oranges.
Okay.
But
I agree with that.
But you can look at, I don't think you had 5 relevant receivers and
I'm talking more snap count. Like, I don't think all those guys are going to get 300 yards or anything like that, or 400 yards.
Okay. Are they getting targets?
Yeah. I think so. So just to look at it last year,
Yeah.
KLS had 623 snaps. Cam had 550. And then there was a massive drop off to Malcolm Simmons getting 292. And Robert Lewis had 294.
Okay. And who was fifth?
Camden Brown with 179.
All right. So you think the fifth highest snap count this year will have more than that?
Yeah, I think Auburn's going to run more plays. So yes.
Okay. All right. And more plays with more receivers on the field, so more snap counts in general for receivers?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think Hugh Freeze likes 2 tight end sets, so I don't know. I don't know on that one. But I will make the argument, and this is no disrespect to Cam Brown, because I love Camden Brown as a human.
Yep.
I think he's fantastic. I hate that he left, but I totally get it. But I think Sam Turner will be more relevant in the offense than Camden Brown was last year as the 5th receiver when it comes to snap counts.
Yeah. And you think that's a function of him being a more productive receiver and not the scheme?
I think it's all of it. I think
Okay.
it's all of it. And I'm still in wait and see mode on the scheme, so I'm not even going to credit the scheme here. But I just think Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton are going to demand so much, and Malcolm Simmons, they're going to demand so much that I do think it's going to be easier for Horatio Fields and Sam Turner or Perry Thompson, whoever gets in with those guys on the field. It's going to be easier for them to operate. Even a guy like Rico Walker, if he's the guy who commands that Rivaldo Fairweather role, I don't think the targets will be the same. But as far as impact and passing patterns and things like that, we're also got to assume that Jackson's a better quarterback than Peyton.
Yep.
I'm okay assuming that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a few things.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to go there and ask that question of, do you have 2 tight ends that you feel really steady about being on the field significantly? Is it Walker? Is it, Howard? Is it Frazier? I mean, Brandon Frazier coming back is a big deal, I think.
I agree.
But he's not going to catch 30 passes.
No, and what we saw last year is we kind of saw your blocking tight end, Luke Deal, and then we saw the receiving tight end, Rivaldo Fairweather.
Mm-hmm.
I think your 2 candidates for the receiving tight end is Rico Walker and Preston Howard. I don't think that surprises anybody. And then the blocking tight end, like right now, I think it's Brandon Frazier, who can help you, I think, more in the passing game than Luke Deal did a year ago. The interesting dynamic in the tight end room to me is Tate Johnson, who's moved to tight end. There's not a lot of talk about that.
It's true.
But we know Coach Freeze loves Tate Johnson. His personality is infectious. And it sounds like he's done a lot of good things for the tight end room.
Yeah.
Now, are they going to send him into the flat? I hope not.
Or down the seam? Probably
I hope not.
Yeah.
I feel like that would not be a good idea. But man, if that happened and it happened at home, like Jordan Hare would be electric. Like that would be insane. But I do think he's going to play. I do think he's going to be attached to the line. And so how does that impact Frazier? Do you take Frazier off in that situation? Do you put Frazier kind of, split out at the slot? The tight end room is interesting to me, where I had concerns, and I don't think I have concerns anymore, but I still do have questions.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just not and rightfully so. You're not expecting any tight end to be used the way Rivaldo Fairweather was used for the last 2 years.
No, I don't think they should use as many 2 tight end sets this year.
Right.
Like your receiving room is so good.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And that's kind of why I think I can get behind 5 impactful, even at varying degrees, receivers if the scheme changes a little bit. If you're not using as many 2 tight end sets, if you're taking one of those guys off the field in the basic scheme. Yeah. I think I can get there. I don't know if it's more than 240 snaps. It's 20 snaps a game for a 5th receiver.
What do we say Camden Brown got?
Almost 200. So if you're saying
179. Yeah.
What was it? 170. All right. So 15 snaps a game. And if you think a guy's going to have more, your 5th receiver getting 20 snaps a game?
Robert Lewis played 294 snaps last year.
How about that? 25 snaps a game, a little under 25 a game.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
But they loved Robert Lewis. They really liked his steadiness and
just didn't work.
No. Well,
or was it just Peyton not looking at him?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
It didn't work is a huge statement. You did have he wasn't brought in to be the number one receiver. I don't think any of us thought he was the number one receiver last year, did we?
I mean, when I did my predictions, I predicted Robert Lewis will lead Auburn in receiving yards. I did.
Okay.
The year before that, I predicted Shane Hooks. So what do I know?
We all predicted Shane Hooks. That's a different. Again, the 23 receiver room is an altogether.
Yeah,
that's an altogether different thing.
Yeah. Thank goodness it's gone. Yeah.
That's right. Should we read into anything about the offense, given that two starters on the thoughts on the offensive line? They're missing two starters in the spring. What are we? I don't know. What are we taking from the offensive line discussion? We're going to talk about that after Zach tells you about Rhoback.
Yeah, rhoback.com, RHOBACK.com is your go-to spot for all of your apparel needs, because what they have is so diverse. Their catalog is insane, and it grows by the day. I mean, I get an email about a new item that they've got like every single day.
Yep.
Whether it's the, you just want a traditional polo collared shirt, a quarter zip. Look, a lot of us are going through it right now. Just put it on a quarter zip, and it really hides a lot of imperfections.
Yes.
It really makes it seem like you've got it all together when you put on a Rhoback quarter zip. So head over to rhoback.com, use promo code VICE20 to get 20% off your order. Rhoback.com, use promo code VICE20.
So no Xavier Chaplin, no Connor Lew
right.
in spring football. It's kind of a big deal.
Is it? I don't know.
Well,
we know who Connor Lew is, and we think we know who Xavier Chaplin is.
It's
more.
Go
ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's a big deal in the scope of, I guess, the conversation of spring practice.
Yeah.
And what are you looking into? What are you reading into? Are you taking with a grain of salt what you hear, good or bad, about the offense or the defense if your offensive line is missing two starters?
Yeah, the Connor Lew being out, I don't really care because we know who Connor is as a player. Now, new quarterbacks, like you'd like for that communication and the snap and all that, but they've got plenty of time to work that out. Not super worried about that. Chaplin, I would have loved to have seen him get some reps. Obviously, new system for him. And just I think he's better than Percy Lewis. He's certainly ranked higher than what Percy Lewis was a year ago. But Auburn went out and swung big and got a big offensive tackle, a left tackle in the portal, and it didn't work. It didn't work. Now, does anything with what Percy Lewis did have anything to do with Xavier Chaplin? No, it is not. It is not. Xavier Chaplin's more proven. He's got more experience. I'm not worried about it, but I would like to have seen it.
Yeah.
The positive side of this, though, is you're getting to see the next tier of linemen battle it out.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's been battles at tackle with Tall Miller playing left tackle, which I don't fully understand why they're doing that, but whatever. And then at right tackle, a big chunk of spring has been Mason Murphy, the transfer from USC, who I was not high on when we got him. Yep. I'm like, I get it. He's the second best tackle, supposedly in the portal. Okay, it's fine. USC threw parties when he left and entered the portal. And that's never a good sign. It sounds like Kieron Crawford in the scrimmage on Saturday whooped him. And so then they pulled him and they switched him with Tyler Johnson at right tackle.
Yep.
And it sounds like Tyler Johnson is better, which does not surprise me at all. I'm very high on Tyler Johnson as the third tackle in this offense this year, and then as a starter next year. I think that's the path for Tyler Johnson. Yeah. So I guess it's allowed you to create the pecking order of offensive tackle with Xavier Chaplin not there just because you have more reps available, but I'd much rather have had Chaplin practicing.
Why does too tall at left tackle surprise you a little bit?
Because he's going to play right tackle.
But what if he's got to play left tackle? Like, what if he's not going to play right tackle?
Which is obviously why they're doing it, right? I just don't see. I don't know. I would have rather just them put Tyler Johnson at left tackle.
At left tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's why
he almost won that battle a year ago.
Yeah.
With Percy. Like, he almost won that battle. And then could he possibly be that guy next year for you at left? Like, I don't know. I understand the whole injury thing.
Yeah.
But then if somebody goes down, like, why would you want to change two positions when you can just change one? That's just a perception thing. And Hugh Freeze, and they're going to know more about dealing with that than I am. I'm not saying that what they're doing is wrong. I don't know. It seems like an extra step that's not needed.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I mean, that's why I asked.
Do you think I'm off on that?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
And if you have a left-handed quarterback at any point, your left tackle becomes your right tackle. Your right tackle becomes the left tackle in terms of protecting the blind side, which brings me to another question that I have. Okay. So Deuce Knight is killing it, right?
Yeah.
He's killing it in spring practice.
Right.
If I gave you the option, okay, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is purely hypothetical fantasy world, okay? I just want to have some fun with this. Can we have some fun with it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's say this year you went with Deuce Knight instead of Jackson Arnold.
Starting him game one. Okay.
Game one. Let's go. But you're going to lose game one because you get a true freshman starter. You'll lose the Baylor game. And you're going to go 6-6 or 7-5. But that experience will allow Deuce to improve to such a point that in a couple of years, not right away, not next year, not 26, but let's say 27, you're competing for a conference championship. Can you sit through another 6-6? Now you go with Jackson Arnold.
There's what in this fantasy world, what do we go if Jackson Arnold starts? What's the guarantee? Oh, you take 9-3.
8-4.
Well, which one?
Let's go 8-4 because that makes it less obvious for you. Clearly, there's more conflict if it's 8-4.
I think you still start. I think you still start Jackson.
Yeah.
I think you still start Jackson, and you just tell Deuce, like, it's yours after this year. That's probably what's going to happen anyway. I think it's the most likely option anyway. But no, if you're Hugh Freeze, like, I have a hard time seeing how things are okay if we lose at Baylor. Yeah. Like, I'm really concerned about the implications of that game.
Yeah.
Now you can right the ship, right? Like, if you all of a sudden then you win the few games after that, and then you win at Oklahoma and at Texas A&M,
sure,
all that goes away. I'm not saying you can't right the ship after that.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that you lose that game and a lot of things go south. But there's a chance of it. On the other side of it, I think if you go win at Baylor, well, there's going to be a lot of folks who are like, oh, well, it's Baylor. Auburn should always be Baylor in football. Like, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's entirely true. On the road in Waco, like, I think that'd be a huge win. I think it'd be a huge confidence builder, especially for some of these guys that have been here a little bit longer, or maybe even like the true sophomores that are trying to like reverse the culture. I think that's a stamp of like affirmation of like, we're doing this. We are changing things. So I just think that Baylor game is huge. I think it's crucial. If you win, I think it means a ton. While things could still go bad, you could still lose on the road at Oklahoma and Texas A&M a few weeks later.
Yeah.
But if you lose it, like, I think it's gonna be really, really bad. Once again, you still can fix it. You can win, at Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Like, it's not the season, but it could be.
It's a massive game to start the season. Massive game. Like,
I hate it. Yeah. And it's on a Friday. Like, I just don't like it. Yeah. I don't like it at all.
I'm with you on the Friday thing. I don't like the Friday thing. I don't like it at all. There's no part of it that I like.
Fridays are supposed to be fun.
Well, and
I don't think, like, watching that game, like, it's going to be, if we blow them out, it'd be awesome.
They're also incredible. They're also for high school football. And throughout the state of Alabama and the state of Texas, where high school football is so important.
Yeah.
I don't like anything about opening the season on Friday.
I didn't even think
hate
about that aspect of it. Yeah, 100% there with you.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
like a little bit on my day job, by the way, I'm dealing with radio affiliates who are like, okay, we got to make a choice now. What do we do? Because most of them are carrying high school football games.
Interesting.
And there's a lot in Texas. So it'll be, but anyway, but that's beside the point. We got a lot of time to get it is a massive opener. And
are affiliates going to pick the high school game over the Auburn game?
No, they're going to pick our game, but it just puts them in such a bad place. Because it's like week 2 of the high school season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of the station that I used to work at.
Yeah,
it's like,
we've already had the conversation.
I mean, I guess you move Auburn High School off of Wings. Is like that? Is that? I don't know. That's tough. That is tough.
It's a big decision. Yeah,
yeah.
These aren't small conversations to have.
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's Auburn University. Yeah, but these stations also make a lot of money on high school football broadcasts.
Oh, most of those stations, like that's the bell cow, 100%.
Especially our smaller ones. So anyway, that's just one element of the conversation. But yeah, it's a big game to start. And Baylor's going to have a lot of hype around them to start the year.
I love our like nerdy industry.
Yeah.
Like asides that me and you only enjoy, and everyone watching is like, shut up. Like, get back to it.
You're talking about all those people who are fired up about it being on a Friday night to start the season? Where we just said, yes, TV, tell us what to do, tell us where to go and what to do and what to wear, and we'll do it. Yeah. We'll just do it. So anyway, that's the world that we're in.
Did you eat outside over the weekend?
No, I didn't eat outside over the weekend. I mean, I ate in the baseball press box Saturday. Does that count? The windows were open.
Baseball's killing it right now.
Yeah. Baseball's ranked 9th in the country. Just beat Georgia Tech in Atlanta again. Atlanta's been very good to Auburn of late.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Auburn East.
Yeah. Just as close as Birmingham, by the way.
It's an easier drive, in my opinion.
Much easier drive, yes. Worse traffic, but an easier drive to get to the perimeter.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about Atlanta traffic. I'd much rather drive in Atlanta 9 times out of 10 than Birmingham. I do not like driving in Birmingham. I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
You prefer driving in Atlanta to Birmingham?
I just feel like the flow is so much faster.
Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. We'll agree to disagree on that.
That's my personal experience. Yep. I'm just saying.
Sure.
I haven't seen I've been in there where it's like, bumper to bumper, you don't move. Like I've been, but it seems like that happens more when I go to Birmingham than when I go to Atlanta.
Can I tell you my worst Atlanta traffic story ever?
Sure.
Okay. In 2015, I moved from North Carolina to Birmingham Labor Day weekend. Okay. Labor Day weekend. It's 150,000 degrees outside. Okay. So we start this 8-hour drive.
Some people would love to eat outside in that weather, by the way.
Some people would love to. Yeah. We're not two that would. And so I'm driving a car, and I've got a golden retriever who's like 12 years old.
Okay.
And sheds terribly, as golden retrievers do. Okay. She sheds terribly. 30 minutes into the drive, 30 minutes into the 8-hour drive on Labor Day weekend, the air conditioning goes out in the car.
Oh, no.
It goes out. Okay. It's 90 something degrees. And I got 7.5 hours in this drive to go. And it's a Friday. So here we go. And we start the drive, and I stop, and I'm going to do like the Georgia Bulldog thing with the dog to keep her cool. So I go get a bag of ice so she can sit on or lay on the bag of ice. Because I saw, that's what they do with the Bulldog over at Georgia. So I do that for her.
I had no idea. Okay.
Got to roll the windows down, though, because I have no air conditioning. So her fur is flying all over the place. And it's hot, and it's loud, and it's just gross for 7.5 hours. Part of that 7.5 hours, by the way, we have to come through Atlanta. Yeah. And it's standstill Friday rush hour traffic with the hot asphalt making it 120 degrees, and the car stopped, and we're baking in the sun. And she's huffing in the back, and fur's flying, and I'm sweating, and it's miserable.
Yeah.
It's the worst Atlanta traffic story
that's a bad one for sure.
There was fur in that car for a year after that drive.
Like we've gotten this thing detailed 5 times. We're
Yeah.
still finding fur.
Still finding fur.
That's
Terrible.
funny.
Yeah.
All right. I think it does it for today's show.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for subscribing. We will have another show for you this week. Don't forget the Barn Baseball Show as well as we look ahead. We got a top 10 series this week. Number 9, Auburn. Number 3, LSU. Plainsman Park.
It's in Plainsman. Wow.
Yeah. Big time. So like if you're
Wow.
coming to A-Day, there's a couple tickets left, I think, for Saturday baseball. So you can check that out. All right. Until next time, remember, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.